As the ranking member, Representative DeSaulnier from California.
Thank you. I want to thank all the witnesses again, a terrific testimony. Mr. Huma, a lot has changed other than you've gone from a linebacker's build and 5 meals a day to 3 in a DB. But could you talk a little bit about, I mean, in sports, there's been lots of arguments for decades about what is an amateur, whether it's the Olympics or college athletics, and what's a professional. What has changed from your perspective to make this a more acute need to define the boundaries of professionalism and amateurism?
Thanks for that question. I think, today the high revenue college sports are almost indistinguishable from the pros. Obviously, college is involved, but besides that, again, it was mentioned just yesterday, there was a hearing. Because there was legal pressure, again, one of the avenues to fight against this injustice, the NCAA Power 5 conferences are being pushed to finally share revenue with athletes. And as we speak right now, there's recruits 16, 17 years old being signed by schools right now to professional agreements. So, and that's a good thing. That's a great development. And that's now something even the schools are celebrating. They kind of have to because they have no choice, but hey, we're there. And that was because athletes' rights were not taken away by Congress. And I will point out, as an athlete, all the athletes we work with, there are very special things about college sports, but amateurism has nothing to do with it. Has nothing to do with it. You can learn leadership if you're an employee. You can learn all the different things we're talked about today, teamwork, camaraderie. That doesn't go away because someone has rights, because someone's an employee. The ability to play at a high level and pursue a degree, that's really what makes college sports special. And I think if you dissect what everyone's talking about here, that's what is there. The employee status issue does not negate that. It doesn't take away from being a student. You have students in bookstores at all the schools we're talking about. They're employees. You have some students on these campuses that actually have the right to form a union. But we're not here talking about that. This is about taking away rights from athletes so that they're not empowered to make the changes this industry has never wanted to make. The first year that we actually announced what we were doing, within months, 3 football players died in their off-season workouts. And since then, there's been death after death after death. You can set your watch to it. That's the very next year I testified in Congress, 2002, begging Congress, please do something. And nothing's been done. And there's been individuals that have talked about it. And I was really in agreement with much of what Congressman Baumgartner said today. Congress, you have the votes. You can solve these issues. And this is what I'm here pleading for on behalf of all the families that have suffered and the families that will suffer if Congress doesn't act.
So my district is next to the mothership of the University of California. So when I talk to people in the football program at Berkeley, or I have a very dear friend who's coach of the rugby team, sort of the rugby program in the United States, this challenge doesn't, to Mr. Baumgartner's comments, and Mr. Nash's too, there seems to be an ability to fix this. The idea of pooling the revenue to make sure that these minor sports, and that's a misnomer from my perspective, having been a lacrosse player many years ago, to get all the benefits that you've talked about. So there does, in your comments about your agreement, I'm in agreement too. But beyond that is these questions, and we've always sort of mythologized the Rudies of the world, but then underlying, and that's not just unique to college athletics, there are the issues you mentioned about sexual exploitation, harassment, just harassment of people who are in the program anyways. But defining that as opposed to what Ms. Williams talked about is dealing with adversity, that's legitimate adversity. So there strikes me as sort of the challenge we have here is making this work, but also making sure that some of the cultures that we've unfortunately dealt with for too long don't get addressed and the athletes have a chance to defend themselves as an employee would.
Absolutely. I think there's a big difference between the challenges that make us stronger as a college athlete, dealing with adversity within a normal realm, but that adversity should not include sexual assault. And UC Berkeley, that was one of, I could have listed names, but UC Berkeley, 2014, Ted Agu passed away. The university admitted negligence. Now, the trainer that oversaw that workout was the same trainer at Central Florida just a few years before that oversaw another workout death among similar circumstances, sickle cell, which is completely preventable. And that trainer could be anywhere today, you know? So that is not the type of adversity that people can walk off. That family's devastated. Ted's gone.
Thank you. I yield back.